Afternoon. Thank you all for coming out to our press conference today. We'll be hearing from Coach Craig Roden, Mike Nienaber, Rodney Batts, and Casey Burgoyne-Charles. But we will start with women's basketball and head coach Craig Roden. They split the weekend, a win against CBU in Memphis, and then fell to Union on Saturday at Union. Quantisha Patterson scored 28 points, 15 rebounds against CBU, 23 points and 14 rebounds against Union to lead the way for the women to split both of those games. And with that, we'll bring up women's basketball head coach Craig Roden.
Well, we got back off the trip safe. That's about the about the best thing. We had to battle. We had to battle a good Christian Brothers team. They shoot the ball. If they had started out strong this year or started out good, they would be really in the mix of things. They can put points on the board, and they can score very easy. And they've been they scored 85 on us here, and so we felt very fortunate to win that ball game. We got some stops throughout the fourth quarter. Was able to take maybe an 8-point deficit into an 8-point win in the fourth quarter. So we was very pleased with that. Went up to Union Saturday, and Union was ready. They pushed the ball down the floor. They basically ran it up our backside. Our transition defense was flat. And like I said on the radio with Phillip, as a head coach, when you're that flat defensively in transition, you got to take the responsibility. I didn't do a very good job of getting them to understand what level that Union was going to bring that. Union already looked Saturday. They already looked tournament ready, and we see now what our breaks and our sickness cost us, and we've got a lot of work to do here in a couple of weeks.
You weren't able to get your 600th win this weekend, but talk about what it would mean to do it now at home, now that you have a chance.
Really, that's not, as far as I'm concerned, it's great to have, but just the fact that just means you've been around a long time, and you've had a lot of good players, good assistant coaches, and you stayed ahead of the posse a lot of times in that situation. It's not an issue, and nobody. Well, let me say this: I was at Texas El Paso when Coach Haskins won his 500th game, and they asked Coach Haskins how he thought the kids would respond to his 500th win, and he said they don't care. He said I was at Oklahoma State when Mr. Iba won his 500th game. He said we didn't care. He said the only thing we cared about is that with Mr. Iba we didn't have to practice 3 times the next day. He said, which was standard procedure after a loss. But no, it's good to have. It's a nice thing, and it'll mean more. It'll mean more to me, a few years down the road when I'm sitting there watching Coach Nienaber struggle. It'll mean a lot more to me back then. When he's in a tight game, I'll be like, oh well, I'm glad that I don't have to do that now. But like I said, it's something, and when you're down to 1, it's going to happen eventually, whether it happens Thursday or Saturday or next week or whatever, it'll happen. So.
Do games against like Union getting close to tournament time kind of give you perspective of where your team is currently right now?
Yeah, Union seemed to be tournament ready Saturday. Is that too early? I don't know. But I know. The one thing we talked to our kids about after the game is, that level of intensity that they brought is a tournament level of intensity, and we've got to come back and make sure that we're there here in a couple of weeks.
Coach Roden, at one point y'all looked like y'all were kind of up there in the upper part of the standings. Now y'all are kind of around fourth or fifth or tied for fourth, something like that. Y'all
Yeah.
kind of lost a few here lately. Down the stretch, what are some of the things that you feel the team probably needs to improve on going forward?
We just need to be on the floor. We need to be on the floor. I mean, you take about 10 days and you don't have your full team there, and you know, it's you're playing people out of position, so you missed about 2 weeks of improvement there at a crucial time. So now you've just got to get back and get the reps with your full group together. You got to get the reps that you need in order to be hitting on all cylinders come tournament time. I mean, I don't view what's happened to us as anything on our part. I think we just we had some, like I said, that sickness run through us, and at a bad time. And you know, we're closing out. We got 5 ball games left. 3 of them's at home. We just got to point our nose down the road, and as Ed Murphy used to say, we just got to keep it between the ditches from here out.
Y'all, of course, y'all still have a good shot to be able to host a first round game. Just do the girls talk about that, or they just?
Now, we hadn't even got into that yet. We're just talking about we've got to get better. We've got to get back to where we were, you know, 3 weeks ago. We've got to get back to that, and so we don't talk about what we got to do now. We get down to that last 7-8 days. Yeah, we'll talk about what the importance of a game or two are.
Coach, we talked about it, I guess, Thursday night. You held Christian Brothers outscoring that fourth quarter for the first 6 minutes, and then you actually outscored Union in that fourth quarter. Talk about what it takes for your team just to transition that final 10 minutes and put up performances that either you need to come from behind or keep a lead.
Well, the Union game, like I said, it got out of hand early. I mean, I looked up there and it was 33-11. I'm like, holy smoke. I mean, we got some work to do, and we talked about it at halftime. We said, look, there's no 10-point shots. You know, what we want to do is try to get this thing. It was 21. We said, look, we want to make it at 15. And then hopefully we got it at 10 going into the fourth quarter where we can make a run at them. And then we got it to 14 midway late, somewhere between midway and late in the third quarter. TK Hicks hit a three-pointer off the baseline, made it 14, and then we turned around and had a couple of mistakes and had one big defensive breakdown. They hit a 3, and then we turned the ball over. They scored again. It was right back to 19, and I thought that was crucial. I think if we could have kept it there, we were on mark for what we talked about at halftime, to be at 10 with 10 to go, and you know, at 5 minutes, you know, we wanted to be a fight and have a chance to come out on top. So, I mean, the kids never quit. I mean, get it to 14, but that's one of those things. That's why it's played 40 minutes instead of 28.